This is TWiT.
Now let's take a look at some snappy Snapdragons.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to show it to you. Yeah, they are snappy. So there are 3 levels of Snapdragon X2 chips. Nope, actually there are 4 levels. There are more models than that, but there are this Plus on the low end, Elite, and then Elite Extreme. The one that's waiting for me back in Pennsylvania is the Asus, which is the Elite Extreme. So obviously that's of interest. But I got an IdeaPad, let's see, 7X, yes, that has an Elite version of the chip, and then a 5X, which is actually a larger laptop, but whatever, that has the Plus. And if you know anything about these chips and the current, the previous gen chips, there was also like an X. So there was X, X Plus, X Elite. Mm-hmm. This time they don't have just an X2, but although I feel like the chip that's in the bigger of these 2 laptops is what we would have called last time just X or X2, I guess, right? Meaning it's the lowest end version.
And presuming this is all binning, right? Like the extreme part it's extremely unlikely for the whole chip to work.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the assumption. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe by this point, obviously they still are planning for tiers to some degree. I mean, they have to have a range of chips at different price points, et cetera. It's weird to me how many Elite models there are, and that's probably almost certainly, I should say, binning of some kind, right?
That's the most so it's the most likely outcome for manufacturing.
But, I went through the kind of setup rigmarole I do on both of these things, and they're both, the lower end one, which is the bigger one, is much like the HP OmniBook 5 from last year. This was the one I bought with my own money. It was $500 or $600 at the time. Mm-hmm. It's the lowest end Snapdragon X chip you can get, and it is wonderful. And I'll try to, it's kind of pointless to show it, but it's just like, this is very much like, to me, the successor to that, right? It's that kind of a thing. But the other one, so this is, this is your basic Copilot Plus PC, right? 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. The one with the higher end chip though has 32 gigs of RAM and I think a terabyte of storage, I'm sure. But it occurred to me after doing all the setup on both, I was like, I should test games on this again. I'll write this up and I'm going to record some hands-on Windows episodes tomorrow. So I think I'm going to do that as part of that, as part of those recordings. But the games I tested, the first one I tried didn't work. It was weird. I wanted to try something a little newer than the stuff I had been testing. So I installed the latest Doom game, the Dark Ages.
Okay.
Comes up fine. It looks fine. It starts, and then it does a little thing where it's going to run the game, and then the game never comes on. You can hear it happening, but you can't see it. So,
interesting.
Based on my experience since then, I think I'm going to try it again because I realized later that the Auto SR stuff wasn't running automatically, and there were some other things that I could probably do to make it work. So that one I'm not sure about, but after that, it was like Half-Life 2, which
some kind of DirectX bonk or something.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. I don't know, but Doom 2016, which did run on, I think, on the first X. Control, which is actually a really resource-intensive game. It's a game I have on the iPad. On the MacBook Air I have, and it does not run well on that laptop at all. But it runs awesome on this thing. It required me to install the .NET Framework 3.5, and I was like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me?" But okay, but it runs great. And then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I think is the first of those 2 games now, but eventually 3 games. And I had to install the EA app to get that going. But other than the Doom game,
so these are all from emulated
Steam as well,
right?
Yeah,
these were not ARM native; they were emulated.
Yep, and they all run great. Great. I mean, not like, oh, this is okay. I mean, no, this is playable. It's 100% playable. So that to me is actually a big leap, forward, because the game story on the first gen was like, you don't want it for that. I mean, you could find games, you'd had to really look, and you could look this up and figure out which ones do work. But
could you feel the difference between an Elite and a Plus? I could just
So I didn't. So at first I was like, I'm just going to put it on the Elite, right? But then I was like, hold on a second, let me try the Plus. The only one I've installed in there so far is Half-Life 2, which again, 20 something years old. This is an older game, but looks awesome, right? I mean,
they run on a watch, right?
Yeah, it runs identically, right? But of course, it's an older game, but it runs beautifully on the Plus. So that's kind of cool. But I mean, day to day, just you run, web browsers, or I use Affinity for graphics or whatever it is. It's just normal. Like you don't really. I could have the biggest portable workstation, with NVIDIA graphics, or I could have this little X2 Plus thing, and those apps all run the same. Like they just work. Anyway, I'm excited to finally have something, so I'll continue with that. But and then I'll see if the Extreme is actually extreme when I get home. But
yeah,
I'm glad this is finally happening. It took a long time.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this little highlight from a much better show, and longer too, called Windows Weekly. The whole link to the show is right below me. And of course, we stream live right here every Wednesday. You can watch us do our thing or download it here or in your favorite podcast player. Best thing to do? What do they say? Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.